And on this episode of It Was a Terrible Movie, What Is Going On Here? We have this from Screen Rant. Jake Gyllenhaal's confirmed Roadhouse 2 return can't repeat the 2024 movie's controversial $85 million mistake. This movie, oh my god. Roadhouse was a bad movie. Let me just, no, screw it first. I'll talk about the article and then I'll talk about the actual movie though. The $85 million mistake, the $85 million was the amount of money for the budget of this movie. I don't understand budgets anymore. I honestly don't. 160, I think, was for like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And then you see all these Marvel movies that have like $200+ million budgets, and the CGI looks like crap. Godzilla Minus One is a $15 million budget, and somehow this movie was $85 million with A-list celebrity Jake Gyllenhaal leading this movie, and you had Conor McGregor? Like, where does the money go? Does anyone that's listening right now have any idea what it costs to make a movie? I have no idea. Because like I said, if you saw Godzilla Minus One, $15 million, gave us the most beautiful Godzilla I've ever seen, and one of the best movies I have probably ever seen. Might be my #1 movie of all time. And you did that with a fraction of the price. Meanwhile, you spend, 2, 3, 4 times the amount of money on that movie, and you make Roadhouse? But the controversial issue is that this movie was supposed to come in theaters, and if it did, it would have made a profit. $85 million is nothing. When you got Conor McGregor with his actorial debut, and Jake Gyllenhaal, and Roadhouse, which is a movie that was really, really damn good back then. I'm not going to say it would have cracked the top 10 of all time, though. I think it would have got maybe 250, something along those lines, though, just from name recognition alone, and the fact that it's a remake of a great movie. But Roadhouse was a terrible movie, a terribly, terribly written movie. And the director, I'm pretty sure Doug Ligma did this one. Let me go over the first 5 minutes of this movie, okay? And the movie starts off in a barn in the middle of nowhere where they're just having one-on-one street fights and people are betting on them. So, Post Malone, who, keep your shirt on for God's sakes, who wins his first fight and then is told he has to challenge Dalton afterwards. And Post Malone doesn't want to fight him. He's like, oh, no, I'd be crazy to go against him. So Dalton's there, smiling, knowing how tough he is, knowing that this guy refused to fight him. So again, he is happy that people know him and his reputation. Next scene, he goes outside, gets attempted mugged, he beats up the mugger, but this woman offers him a ton of money to go to beautiful Florida to bounce for her bar, because it has all these people in khakis that are roughing the place up. So he decides, you know what, I'll do it. So as he's driving away, he parks on the train tracks because he's haunted by things in his past, and he narrowly escapes with his life as a train is barreling down at him. So it starts off with a guy where he was happy that people knew who he was because of the things he's done in the past. And then he's so upset about the things he's done in the past that he's ready to end it all. That's just the beginning of this nonsensical movie. I do not recommend Roadhouse to anyone. Conor McGregor was fun in the movie because he was so over-the-top, cartoonish villain ridiculous. He has a lot of fantastic lines, a lot of hysterical moments, but his introduction to the movie was really, really stupid. It starts where he jumps out of this woman's window naked, and I think like her husband comes in, and the assumption obviously is that he was just with this guy's wife, and now he's fleeing the scene. And then a second later, he's asking this dude for his jacket, and the guy's like, no, I'm not going to give my jacket to you, random naked man. And then the screen cuts to black, and then when it cuts back, the entire place is on fire. So we have a guy who just jumped out of a window in fear of this vengeful husband. And then a second later, he's doing all this crime in full view of everyone with a smile on his face. This movie was terrible. This should not have gotten a theater release at all. It shouldn't have been made. And the fact that you're trying to make a sequel out of this movie, a cinematic universe, dare I say, of Roadhouse, just pissing money away. And also, we both know this budget is going to be well north of $85 million. There's no way you're going to tell me that they're going to make a sequel to this movie where they're going to have to go bigger and better than the first one. They're looking at all these people that sat down on their couch or their bed who already had Amazon Prime and said, you know what, I got nothing going on tonight. I might as well pop on this brand new movie that's not going to cost me anything. And they saw these numbers and said, you know what, we got to make this movie again and we got to put it in theaters. Because people are watching it as they already have our service and it's costing them $0 extra. Oh man, it's early. It's going to flop. It's going to flop because the first one was so dumb. And the second one, there's no reason to make a second one. But you know what? Their hubris is going to be too much. What do you guys think about that? Did you see the first one? Did you enjoy it? Please let me know.